And we're live again. Work on Firefox again. And on Light Dismiss. Pull up the spec. See where we got to. I'm also going to zoom in more. I don't know what the right zoom is. I feel like that's about close. Nope. HTML. Botwig. HTML. Holes. Read. We want to find this one. Go to the diff. I should put like bookmark this or something, but maybe this will be the last session we work on. Diff on interactive elements. Cool. Zoom in this a little more as well, make this nice and easy to read for everyone. Maybe we can go one more here as well. Alrighty. Gonna share on the socials with okie dokie. So oh, this music. Unable to lower the music. Why am I unable to lower the music? Whatever. I have to deal with it at this volume. What volume thing? Isn't it? Cool. So we need to. So we left off yesterday. Trying to recontextualize where we were. We left off yesterday. We wanted to look at the invalid states, and so what I've done is I deleted these two. This is the missing attribute. I deleted these two, figure out what was happening with the missing attribute, and we've got this fail, and it says that equals reflection should be limited to known values, expected close request but got any. I think we need to have a little look skis and figure out what is going on with this reflection stuff. So this is a valid. So we should be able to say closed by. We need to go to about config and dialog. Light dismiss. So closed by is any, which is totally wrong here. This should be none. So where is any coming from? Because this says close request or none. I think part of this is the intrinsic values of the well, that oops on that idea. I thought any was the top here. None is. Auto is, but maybe none should be. Anyways, clearly the order doesn't matter. curious. Default value and the missing value are the same, I'm pretty sure. Closed by. Hello world thing is, it taunts me. Comes into my dreams. Right. Any close request and none. And it's the closed by invalid and missing are both the auto state. So we should, like, the auto state doesn't represent a string. Right? We've only got any, none, and close request as the strings. If we go here, I wonder if I do close request, this should be close request. Great. If I did none, be none. If I do any, be any. If I do auto, it shouldn't be auto. Right, it's still any. If I delete it, any. So that's the invalid. Then the missing is this. And so this is none. Okay, this gives me a thread to pull on because the get enum attr there are two these. We don't want whoops, don't want form submission, we want element. There are two. Okay, so this just applies the default twice. We get the attribute, we zero out the string. We say if there's no attribute and we've got the default missing, we stick the string inside of the like we stick the default string inside of the result string if there's a default missing. Otherwise, I guess if this were just an empty, like a null pointer, then it would set it to null. If the type, the attr val type is an enum, then we're going to get the enum string. It's invalid. So do we think this is maybe the issue? Missing? It's populated. It's say that the default. I'm not sure. The parse attr or parse attribute. We call parse closed by attribute. You say this is an enum. Parse enum value maybe is the. I wonder where attr val type. Like, how does the browser know if an attribute is enum? Where I'm stuck. Presumably just by parsing, right? Like if we look at parse enum value, does that set a flag? Enum table entry to value. Let's look at popover. Wonder if there's a popover attribute. Parse popover attribute. There's this attribute keyword. What if we go on the blame? This did not add the keyword. Earliest without this. Show earliest without this. Still got the popover table here. Add popover attribute. This is probably what we want to look at. I wonder if there's like a table somewhere or something like static app. No. Ref. I mean, it must be an enumerated attribute because it is correctly getting the it's enumerating correctly, because if it is invalid, if it's not one of the known values, like we can see enumerating okay. Like 0 closed by Denny sets it, then it's gonna oh, and he's a terrible choice. Closed, but this closed by comes back as any, so why? Because of the table with any at the top? Like if I did this and rebuilt, is it going to be none? That'd be silly. And in this code, I did see default, but this is just a const, right? Nothing special about this. Over default, in the parse enum value, is that, did I just miss that? Being dumb. Parse enum, parse. What? Yeah, what does parse enum value actually take? Parse enum value takes value, the table, whether or not it's case sensitive. And it takes the default value, a pointer to the enum table. I guess because we're just passing the table, we're getting this none. So we want to do the same thing here. I think this is it. We want to do the same thing here where we say Default value is in top layer. A closed by table. Gotta work this out. Oops. I think actually where consts could be useful. Like context per. Basically, we want this. A dialog, a modal dialog, a closed by modal default. Going to be closed by table. 2 is in fact correct. The default is going to be 0. So here, here, I'm gonna say closed by modal default. Okay, closed by default. This becomes the default value. I think that should do the job. Just to confirm, run this. And I should now see this as none because I changed the order of the table. Yeah, this is correct. So let's build this now. This new change. This should probably be K closed by modal default. Way this enum table thing, like tag. Struct enum table. Tag and value. Think here tag. But this doesn't like default value. Why doesn't it? Alright, cannot initialize. Oh, it's not a char star, idiot. Table. Yeah, I think this can be tag, and this can be default. So when we're getting closed by a string, we need to get the tag. I mean to use probably. Oh yeah, they are point. Yes. What? Closed by. Excuse me. Oh, I've got the casing wrong, I see. Well, that was easy. So that looks fine. Oh, there's an error. What's this? Unknown type name enum table. Really? Oh, because it's an SATTR value. Enum table. Name spacing. Good idea. Okay. I think we're getting there. So in theory, this change should, if we run the WPTs, we should get all passes now. I'll be happy if that happens. It didn't happen. I'm not happy. Why didn't it happen? Modal dialog in auto state should respond to escape. Expected true got false. Modal dialog in auto state should respond to escape. Oh. Run this. It's a different error, so we've certainly fixed. What my old session? Okay, so close by is none. If we did 0 show modal, aha, close close by is still none. Excuse me. So this is the issue. Close by modal default. Close by modal default. But is in top layer. Not reflecting. Because it shouldn't matter if it's present. Right. Oh. Why is the invalid value default different to the... Why is the invalid value default different to the missing value default? When it's missing is close request, and presumably escape works. But when it's when it's set, so it's got an invalid value, it's none. I call show modal. Close by is still none. Now it's not responding to escape. If this was auto, if this was close request, it responds. So it is still the invalid value default thing that's tripping us up. It's none, even though it's modal. Okay, so let's go to parse enum attribute. Parse enum attribute. Parse enum value. So this says for every tag in the table, if we're case sensitive, which we're not, we're going to check whether or not the value itself, string, is equal, right? If it is equal, we're going to get the value. Okay, so it like normalized it, like normalize the string to its case if it's case sensitive, but we're not case sensitive, so it doesn't matter. Set int and type value. So here's where that enum flag gets set. Enum value, or enum properly. So I think, oh, this is going to be rough. I think what needs to happen is whenever the dialog switches into the top layer, we need, like, this is happening the attribute is getting set at parse time. It doesn't get reevaluated. And so we need to trigger some kind of attribute reevaluation whenever the dialog moves into the top layer and probably moves out of the top layer. So that's fun. Set int value and type. Like, I wonder where parse attribute called. If set. This is the thing to look at. Who calls this? Oh, oops, wrong button. Search for. That's not encouraging. I think this is kind of weird because I don't know of any attributes that change the reflected type. Unless, excuse me. One thing we could do then, so get closed by can return the tag, but actually ours don't have, so we're gonna have to have like a null pointer or dialog element closed by auto. I wonder if enum table, I wonder if there's any enum tables here that have a similar thing. Like, I'll pick a random one. Fun. Weird. Like, some of these must have an auto type which changes state based on some other, like this thing, right? This one is capture none. I think might be okay. This is what, 3? Let's try it. Let's see what happens. So then in parsed, rather than default, well, I guess what we could do, this can be the default auto. Then we can just say okay, closed by table. Get the first one. So if it's invalid or missing, it will be auto. But because this is a null pointer, my hope is we'd call get closed by placing. Let's paste this everywhere. So A closed by B, lowercase b. Yeah, so the parse attribute will put it in the auto state. It doesn't have a reflected string value, null pointer, which means that when we get to the get, if it's in the auto state, it's going to be a null pointer, and so we're going to have to pull out one of these ones, and that's where this default value. That's what I'm hoping happens. What I fear might happen is it crashes. Find out. Oh. That's not a good. Crashing. A default value table entry. This is on what line? ATR CPP 1582. A default value is not inside the table. Okay. What does that mean? Whoops. Let's do the auto one and build. Maybe that's gonna be fine. Oh, because default value. What is default value? Enum table default value. No, that should be fine. Enum table. A table is an enum table. Table entry. Tag. That might not be fine. Because the table entry is a null pointer. Well, let's see. Yeah. Okay, well what if it was an empty string? Is that gonna do... whoops. That shouldn't hit the same assertion, I'm hoping. That does make that. Make this awkward because that means that an empty string is a valid enumeration of this, which is not quite right. But maybe... Oh. What has happened here? This will probably pass, but then we'll still have this weird... Yeah, so it's loading. Put this here. It's loading, but then this, I'm guessing, yeah, it's gonna give us a empty string, which is no fun. Feel like I want to go back to enum table. Oh, I mean, like, I want to randomly click through some of these just to see if there's anything that does weird stuff. I guess one thing we could do is do a custom enumeration, but I'd rather not. Is there any attribute? Valid value default and missing other, but the auto state. So FN auto state. Anything else that does this? Yeah. goes by. Oh, draggable. Draggable might be one. Popover is of course one. Popover's auto state is an enumeration, right? Yes. It's a keyword. Fetch priority is also a keyword. Oh, regex. Decoding table. That's a keyword. Unless the way to... We got the enum ATTR here. Say if a value equal to the empty string, then we can return, or not return, then we say a value something, we get enum, populate the string with the default. I go to definition. No. Oh. Yeah. This end ASCII to UTF-16 NS dependent C string default value. Try that. Because it's only for the reflection. We can have totally wrong. We can have a we can have an enumeration that is the empty string. We can't reflect back an empty string, so we can just add this additional if here because it's only for the IDL that this matters, I think. Like this. If we say not a value, that's, or because it's an NSA string, can look at the length. Invalid argument type NSA string to unary expression. So NSA string is a template, not even defined in there. What is NSA string? What is NSA? Just, is it this? The NST substring? This has methods. I'll find a like empty or guess it's probably part of the superclass. There is one. Base string type. length. Do length. Whoops. Still have an error because auto. Somewhere it will say closed by. There's limited to known values. Is this actually right? This feels weird. I don't know if this is properly spec'd out. I get the sense that the dialogue element. It can be any close request or none. These are the limited values. In the auto state. Then the auto state. To retrieve a computed closed by state. If it's auto, if it's modal, it's a close request. Otherwise, it's none. Computed closed by state. Doesn't say. I'm pretty sure the IDL for closed by is wrong. This must reflect the closed by attribute limited to known values. What happens in Chrome? Oops, wrong. Mary. Date. Dialog. Closed by. This says none. No modal. This says close request. I feel like I want to file an issue about this because this doesn't feel sufficient to describe this. I know we've already done it, but this is weird. And there's no way that I can like explain this in this comment because I can't link to anything that's like, here is where it's defined. So I'm going to raise a clarification. But at any rate, I think should be should have fixed this though. So here is the close by. Close by should not be an empty string. Okay. Cool. I'm not sure what to do with that. I thought this would be fine. Why is that doing that? But if it's if we call show modal, we get any. Why do we get any? Closed by default. Because I added this to the top. Oh, so maybe yeah, this is me being dumb. Closed by default. This should be 1 now. Closed by modal default be 3. Close by auto is 0. All of these. This will work when I actually make all the required changes. It's always helpful to, you know, make the required changes, not half code a solution and wonder why it's broken. All right. So close by should be none. Call show modal, it should be close request. So voila. And so we go to the WPTs and run them. We should get a passing. Yeah, unexpected pass. That sounds great to me. We want meta. So the unexpected passes are the invalid state because we've done both the invalid and the missing state now. This is awesome. So all that's left to do for one more hour on this, I reckon, all that's left to do is the pointer click event stuff now, which is defined pretty precisely by the spec. Pointer is this. We're getting to hello world. This is the next bit. This is the next hour of work, and that's I think 4 hours on this, and then we will implement this. So like, this shows me that this is possible to implement inside of a working day, right? We've done 4 hours, or we will have done 4 hours on this. This is a good sign. This is like, hopefully it comes across, folks, that it is reasonable to do this kind of development. Like, the whole point of these streams is that I want people to work on browsers. I think it's a cool thing and very empowering. And if I can do it, and I am an idiot, and if I can do it, I'm sure you can. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you have been, I will. I'm going to finish this. We're going to get this over the finish line. Look, 4 failing tests. That's all we got to fix tomorrow. So